Dr. Shade is a renowned relationship psychologist and emotional behavior analyst who helps men understand the hidden psychological patterns inside modern relationships. Have you ever felt like the woman you deeply loved was slowly becoming emotionally distant? Not because of a huge fight or a dramatic argument, but through small changes that quietly created distance between you both. And every time you tried to talk about it, somehow the conversation turned against you. Suddenly, you became the insecure one, the controlling one, or the problem. Today, we are going to talk about some powerful psychological patterns that often appear before a relationship emotionally breaks apart. These are not always obvious lies. Most of the time, they come disguised as normal excuses, emotional explanations, or personal growth. We insert we away. The painful reality is that many good men ignore these warning signs because they genuinely trust the person they love. They keep giving chances, keep doubting themselves, and keep hoping things will return to normal. But emotional disconnection rarely happens overnight. It happens slowly through repeated patterns that many men fail to recognize. It is important to understand something before we begin. Not every woman behaves this way, and not every relationship problem means betrayal. Healthy relationships naturally go through stress, conflict, and emotional ups and downs. However, there are certain behaviors that consistently point toward emotional withdrawal and hidden detachment. Psychological pattern number 1. I just haven't been in the mood lately. This is probably one of the most common emotional excuses used before emotional separation begins. At first, it sounds completely reasonable. Everyone gets stressed. Work becomes exhausting. Life becomes overwhelming. So, when a woman says she is tired or not in the mood, most men immediately try to become understanding and patient. And sometimes, stress genuinely is the reason. But here is the real question. Is she emotionally disconnected from everything in life, or only disconnected from you? If she still has energy for social media, friends, events, selfies, dressing up, and attention from the outside world, but suddenly becomes emotionally cold only toward you, then the issue may no longer be stress. When emotional investment shifts elsewhere, behavior changes. Physical affection disappears. Conversations become shorter. Emotional warmth fades. Simple touch begins to feel forced. A man often notices these changes long before he fully understands them. Unfortunately, this is also where many men make their biggest mistake. Instead of observing calmly, they start overcompensating. They give more attention. They buy more gifts. They become emotionally desperate. They try harder and harder to win back the connection. But genuine emotional desire cannot be forced back through effort alone. This is why actions matter more than words. If someone truly loves you, stress may reduce energy, but it usually does not completely erase emotional closeness. Real emotional connection seeks comfort during difficult times. It does not completely reject it. Psychological patterns up to 2. I need to focus on myself. Modern relationships often use the language of self-growth, healing, and independence. And to be fair, personal growth is extremely important. Every healthy person should continue evolving emotionally. However, there is a major difference between genuine growth and emotional separation disguised as growth. The difference is simple. Does her growth bring you closer together, or does it slowly remove you from her life? When someone genuinely wants to grow inside a healthy relationship, they usually include their partner in the process. They communicate. They share ideas. They discuss emotional lessons. They improve the relationship together. But when every conversation becomes, "This is my journey. I need space. You are holding me back," then emotional separation may already be happening. Many people emotionally detach long before they officially leave a relationship. They slowly create new emotional worlds without their partner. New routines. New circles. New emotional attention, new priorities. And if the partner expresses concern, the concern itself gets labeled as toxic or unsupportive. This creates a dangerous psychological situation. A man starts questioning his own intentions. He wonders if caring too much is somehow wrong. He begins apologizing simply for wanting emotional closeness. Over time, this destroys confidence and emotional clarity. Psychological pattern number 3, you're too controlling. This is where relationships can become psychologically damaging. A man asks a completely normal question. Where were you? Who were you texting? Is everything okay? Instead of receiving a calm explanation, he receives emotional aggression. You don't trust me. You're insecure. You're controlling. You suffocate me. At this point, many men begin doubting themselves. They wonder if they are overthinking. They fear becoming toxic. So eventually, they stop asking questions altogether. But healthy relationships are naturally transparent. When someone has nothing to hide, basic questions usually do not feel threatening. Emotionally honest people explain themselves calmly. They reassure naturally. They do not instantly turn every concern into an attack. However, when someone is hiding emotional secrets, every question feels dangerous. Instead of answering directly, they shift attention toward your character. This psychological tactic is commonly known as gaslighting. Gaslighting happens when someone manipulates you into doubting your own instincts, perceptions, and emotional reality. Over time, the victim becomes emotionally confused. He stops trusting his own intuition. He becomes afraid of confrontation. He prioritizes keeping peace over seeking truth. And sadly, emotional manipulation grows strongest in silence. Psychological pattern number 4. I just want us to be honest with each other. At first, this sounds healthy and mature. It sounds like emotional openness. It sounds like deeper communication. It sounds like intimacy. But sometimes, selective honesty becomes one of the most sophisticated forms of manipulation. Suddenly, she wants to know everything about you. Your fears, your insecurities, your past mistakes, your emotional wounds, your childhood trauma. And because you believe this is emotional intimacy, you open yourself completely. But when you ask similar questions in return, the tone changes. Why are you so suspicious? You have trust issues. Why can't you just trust me? This creates emotional imbalance. You become fully transparent. She remains strategically selective. You become emotionally vulnerable. She remains emotionally protected. And eventually, you begin feeling guilty simply for wanting clarity. This is the danger of selective honesty. It gives you small pieces of truth while hiding the information that matters most. Real honesty flows naturally in both directions. It does not punish curiosity. It does not weaponize vulnerability. It does not shame someone for seeking reassurance. The most important rule: observe, don't chase. If you begin noticing these patterns inside a relationship, emotional panic will only make things worse. Do not beg. Do not emotionally chase. Do not lose your self-respect trying to force clarity. Because when someone is already emotionally detached, chasing only increases your emotional dependence. Your greatest strength is observation. Words can be manipulated. Actions reveal truth. I can see, if she says she is stressed, observe whether she is emotionally exhausted with everyone or only distant with you. If she says she wants self-growth, observe whether that growth includes you or slowly removes you. If she calls you controlling, honestly ask yourself whether your questions were toxic or simply normal relationship concerns. If she talks about honesty, observe whether honesty exists equally on both sides. Observation protects emotional clarity. Emotional desperation destroys it. Never ignore your intuition. Human intuition is incredibly powerful. Sometimes you cannot explain exactly what feels wrong, yet your chest feels heavy. Conversations feel different. Energy changes. Behavior changes. The emotional atmosphere feels unfamiliar. This does not automatically mean betrayal, but it also does not mean your instincts are meaningless. Your subconscious notices patterns long before your conscious mind fully understands them. This is why emotional awareness matters. Not every suspicion is correct. But not every gut feeling is irrational either. Emotionally intelligent people learn to balance trust with awareness. What healthy love actually feels like. Healthy love does not turn you into a detective. You should not constantly feel confused. You should not feel guilty for asking simple questions. You should not feel emotionally unsafe inside a committed relationship. Healthy relationships create clarity, not constant anxiety. A genuine partner does not intentionally keep you emotionally unstable. Real love feels emotionally consistent. Real communication feels safe. Real connection creates peace instead of endless confusion. And when emotional confusion becomes constant, it is important to honestly evaluate the relationship instead of endlessly ignoring reality. Sometimes people emotionally leave relationships long before they physically leave them. And during that process, mixed signals, excuses, emotional manipulation, and distancing behaviors often begin appearing together. Final message: a man's greatest strength is not aggression. His greatest strength is emotional clarity. The moment you begin observing relationships through awareness instead of desperation, manipulation loses power over you. Always remember, real love creates transparency. Real connection creates consistency. Real partners make you feel emotionally safe. Anyone who constantly keeps you confused, invalidates your instincts, and makes you feel guilty for wanting clarity deserves serious evaluation. Never sacrifice your self-respect simply because you are afraid of losing someone. Because sometimes, while trying to save a relationship, a person slowly loses himself. And no relationship is more valuable than your peace of mind, emotional stability, and self-respect.